Let's talk about moving from motivation theories to how to practice these theories, how to implement that. We'll talk about various topics like management by objectives, quality circles, small group activities, suggestion schemes, more of participative management, autonomous teams, training as motivator, job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment, quality of work life or work life balance, flex time, work from home, recognition programs, long service awards, etc., performance linked pay, flexible benefits, employee stock option plans, other financial perks, joining bonus, retention bonus, relocation allowance, increments, performance linked bonuses, long service awards, right? So we'll be talking about various things like that. Now, management by objectives is something that was made famous by Peter Drucker. It is seen as a management philosophy, and it can also be seen as something like a motivational program. Basically, the idea is that the boss and the subordinate sit down and discuss objectives which are quantifiable, measurable, and both agree. The subordinate agrees that these objectives or targets are fair. The boss also agrees, and then it is very simple. Then the subordinate simply has to attain those objectives, and it is clear about how he will do it, what resources the boss will provide or what support the boss will provide, how the whole thing would be monitored, and what the rewards would be upon completion of those objectives, the timelines, the boundaries, and everything. So it becomes very objective. It becomes or almost like a self-managed organization, because then the boss doesn't need to continuously supervise the subordinate, because the subordinate has clear direction. He knows what he's supposed to do. He has agreed that he should do this. It is very clear, it is measurable, it is quantifiable. He knows he has to do that. He knows how to do it. He knows everything else that needs to be done. He knows how to get support, when to be done, when is it to be done, and how to go about it. And once it's completed, what does he get out of it? So management by objectives is almost like a management philosophy, is a big management philosophy, and it is done jointly, where the boss and subordinates fix up objectives. So this is some sort of a participative management thing where the employee is involved in decision making. So this can also be a motivational tool. The Japanese talked of quality circles long ago, and now also known as small group activities. People form small groups or quality circles. Employees from the same department, from across, there can be cross departmental teams, and they sit down and discuss about how to solve a problem, business related, management related, basically work related, professional related issues in improving the organization's performance. They are basically more of self governed, self directed teams. They themselves do it, and they themselves figure it out and go to the management with actionable ideas and inputs and all that. So again, it is more participative. It gives freedom and autonomy to employees, gives them a sense of employment. So that is more involvement. So it is more of a job involvement exercise, where you have the right to decide certain things, or right to you decide certain things, you discuss certain things, you maybe even implement certain things, and management supports you. So you have more, the team has got a more power, and the team decides how to govern the team. So it is also like an autonomous team, where the team is self-governing. There is a team, the team is given a task, or team chooses a task, and team decides how the team will function, how the team will be run. And so it's more of employees taking the lead, management allowing them to take the initiative. So these are all areas in which employees can become more involved in the work. They are given more responsibility, they participate more, so they are happier, they have more responsibility, authority, power, and so it includes improves their morale on the job as far as the job aspect or doing the job is concerned. It makes the job more meaningful, it makes the job more interesting. So these are basically things that make the job interesting. Then you have training itself can be a motivator, because employees can gain competency, they think they are learning. Training is also the way it is organized sometimes with it feels like a break from routine. You are taken to a nice place, and there is it is an entertainment experience along with learning. So there are even outdoor management development programs where you actually go and do things with your team. Maybe you go on a trek, adventurous trek, tenting, camping, whitewater rafting, and rappelling, and then you do team building exercises and bonding exercises and trust building exercises. So taking the employees out of the office on these workshops and seminars can improve their morale. Then of course there is job rotation, is transferring, maybe giving a different job in the same department, or maybe transfer to a different department. There is job enlargement, where it is a horizontal expansion of jobs, where there is more variety, and you are doing one task, now you do other tasks which are connected to that task, maybe across various departments. So it is more of a horizontal thing. You are input to output to input to output to input, so you are covering more of that. So connected more horizontally in the same department or across cross departmentally. That is horizontal expansion. It is job rotation, enlargement. In job and enrichment, it is vertical expansion, where the employee has more control over the planning and execution and evaluation of the job. He is involved more in planning the job, not only just doing the job. Earlier, the boss said execute, he executes. Now he is involved in planning also. He has more control, so vertical control. He has control over execution. He has control over how he is evaluated. So even the feedback part and how he will be given proper feedback and all that. So that is a vertical expansion of a job enrichment, where employee has more control over planning, execution, evaluation. He has more freedom and more responsibility. So these are the things that make the job interesting, because you are involved more, you have more say, and it becomes interesting. You have more power over it, autonomy, all that. Then of course the rewards part is the other part of the story. Sometimes to motivate, you have to look at the job aspect itself, and then apart from the job aspect, there are the rewards aspect of it. So then there is something like QWL, quality of work life balance. So people working too hard have to give family time, and they should not work so hard, and why unnecessary stay back and put in long hours. Just do the job enough. Don't have to unnecessarily sit just because the boss is sitting. So trying to achieve balance so that they can give time to family also, so that relieves the stress and gives them satisfaction. Those things are also tried. Flex time, where you can choose when to work. You have just got to deliver. Where are you delivering from? When are you delivering? How many hours? All that there is a flexibility. And the extreme example of flexibility we have seen is recently in COVID is WFH, or work from home. So some aspects of flex time were already there before the WFH COVID phenomenon. Giving recognition to employees for their performance, patting them on the back in public, giving them some certificates or awards, praising in front of others, long service awards and all that. So that is non-monetary part, but again, it gives him boosts his esteem. Then of course there is money, pay them more. There is performance linked pay. There is performance linked bonus. If you perform, you get more money, more increments, more bonuses. Then there is incentives in target based job. In sales, you have fixed salary, and you achieve certain things, you get incentives. The problem with incentives is many times they are announced but not paid, or they're paid very late. So that should not be done. And especially in piece rate systems, in incentive schemes, one problem that I have found or heard about is that workmen prefer overtime to incentives. I mean, if I produce more, I get an incentive. But if I don't produce more, then I have to work extra hours to do overtime. And sometimes financially, the overtime makes more sense than piece rate incentives, because overtime is paid at half, 1.5 times the normal rate or twice the normal hourly rate that he's getting. So sometimes, if the worker finds it more lucrative to work at a normal pace, not produce more, incentives would mean that he would produce more and get extra money. In overtime system, he produces a normal rate and he is asked to do overtime because the work has to be done and production has to be increased. And overtime sometimes is a better solution than, because everybody gets overtime and there is no competition in who is doing better, or all internal competition about incentives and stuff like that. So, and they may be lucrative also, it might be. So that is one thing. Sometimes even paying attention to employees increases their motivation. Westinghouse plant in GE and Hawthorne experiments have revealed that earlier it was thought that if you increase the lighting and working conditions, the productivity would go up. So they kept one people at the Hawthorne plant, I think Westinghouse General Electric factory in US, in one place, normal, took another group out, and then observed the condition of lights and temperature and stuff like that. But they found that actually the other group started doing well the moment they were taken to a different place. And then after a point, the lights and all that didn't really matter unless it became too bright or too dull where people couldn't perform. So it was simply out of a sense of being special, that look, we are noticed, we are observed, we are a special group that is being studied. So that itself led to an improvement in morale. Researchers were studying the improvement of lights and lighting and proper lighting, but they came out with a different conclusion. So just the sense of being special and singled out can also improve motivation and morale. So your performance linked pays, bonuses, incentives, performance bonuses can be paid to managers and executives also, right? You have flexible benefits, again at a higher level, where the employee is given a bunch of options and he can choose that I want this benefit or that benefit. Salary and perks and benefits. So some perks and benefits, you have a menu and you can customize it. Somebody says I want this benefit, somebody says I want club membership, somebody says I don't want club membership, I want something else. So that also gives a sense of motivation. You also give things like joining bonus when a person joins. Then there is retention bonus when he sticks around with you. You even give relocation allowance for moving from one place to another. When even he has to, first time when he's joining, even he's paid relocation allowance, all the cost of shifting his luggage and all that. So all these things are kind of attractive things for the employees. You even had ESOPs, employee stock option programs. Big companies, limited companies, Infosys in India and others started all these ideas of stock options. An employee becomes an owner then. He's a shareholder in the company. So he's not only an employee. Narayan Murthy's driver also is a shareholder. So he is also part owner of Infosys. And the shares are extra traded in the marketplace. So their value can go up. So you can make a lot of money by your stock options. So employee stock options give you money and give you a sense of being in charge and being in ownership kind of a thing, right? So we'll be talking, maybe one more session we'll be taking on this, and then we'll conclude. Thank you.